Well, we're in Sefton Park here today, and I'm with my friend Paul, who's behind me. We'll just go up and have a talk with Paul. Hello, Paul.
You alright, Mike?
What do you think about what's going on now? We're living in a secretive state, aren't we?
Well, secretive in the fact that decisions are being made behind closed doors, and we're not being told how these conclusions are being reached, because they're not having real debates in Parliament, are they? It's like they're just creating an agenda and imposing it upon us. They're not even asking us, do we want to be part of this? They're now saying you've got to obey whatever they say. And there's no need for consultation, there's no need for accountability. You just do as you're told. And really, it's like living in communist China. I mean, when this whole COVID episode broke, SAGE, who were advising the government on how to deal with it, they said we need a Chinese solution. We need people to be locked in their homes. We need everyone to be accountable for their movements. Put them, electronically tagged or whatever. They wanted totalitarianism imposed on Britain, on Western Europe. But the leaders of Western Europe said that's not going to happen. The people of Western Europe have got a rich tradition of democracy and liberty. They're not just going to fall into line like the Chinese.
What?
They can't be dominated but like the Chinese are. And yet, what happens? We find out the people of Europe have lost their soul. They're just sheeple.
Well, the thing is with me, as you know, Paul, well, I've got cancer, which you all know because I always keep talking about it on the YouTube and BitChute. But I've got to go for an operation in a few weeks, and I'm really worried because they can put me into a nursing home as well. And once you get put into a nursing home, you don't know if you're going to get out. Now they can keep you in a nursing home, they can keep you there. A doctor can say, keep him there or keep her there. So you're imprisoned within a nursing home where you could catch this dreadful COVID-19, You're more likely to catch it in a nursing home, But that's a big worry to me. We've got no right anymore. We can't say, well, no, I won't take this vaccine. It'll become mandatory and it'll be forced upon us. We don't have any rights. We used to be able to say, well, I'm not going to do this. We live in a democracy. That seems to have all gone by the by, doesn't it, Paul?
Something sinister going on. I mean, to just have our liberty taken away. I mean, we're not even allowed to question this whole COVID pandemic, How real is it? How real are these deaths? They're just reclassifying deaths and saying instead of pneumonia and colds or whatever, people are dying of COVID. And, if you've got a strong immune system, if you're under 60, certainly, and probably under 70, or even, look at Trump and Giuliani, they threw it off very easily. You should be able to just throw off this virus. It's nowhere near as fatal as they're making out. It's killing mainly over 80s peoples. But they don't seem to want to say that. They seem to want to intimidate everybody. Everybody. Young people have got to stay in their homes. And, they're talking about making it more draconian. I think they're pushing it to see how much can we actually take the British people or the European people. I know there's rebellions now in places like Italy and Greece. They're saying, no, we're reopening our restaurants, we're not doing it. This is the thing. The Latin temperament is different from the Northern European. But to watch how conformist the British are, no matter what agenda is imposed upon them, no matter how right this agenda is, they do the bidding of the state. And the police have become agents of the state. And it's like the old criteria where things were judged against. We had a benchmark. This is the thing. In the past, we had a benchmark to judge things against. We had the church, we had the family, we had the Bible. We had things we could say, well, is this in line with the teachings that we've received over the last 2,000 years? And if it wasn't, we would question it. But since the 1960s, since the age of mass abortion, since the age of sexual perversion, all that seems to have gone by the wayside. We've lost our moral compass. And because of that, we've lost our ability to say no. To say, no, this is not acceptable. And there's certain people who will still stand up, and there are certain people who have kept the democratic light, flame glowing, and certain people who still value their liberty. But most people are just interested in their security. They're just interested in, will there be money still coming, Will I be accepted? It's peer pressure, isn't it? They're using the media, even the media now. Whereas in the past, the media was the tribune of the people and stood up for the people and gave the people a say. The media now just wants to manipulate the people at the call and beck and call of the state. The media just there to do the state's,
Well,
push the state's agenda.
Let's just, speak about reality. What does reality mean? Well, it's a reality. Paul's there, and here's the park, as you can see. That is a reality. We can actually see it. But our leaders and our politicians want us to believe in that, which isn't real, And they're giving too much power to people, to doctors and to other people, to impose onto us what the government wants, especially the police force. The police are there today just to impose the government's agendas onto us, not there to protect us. So we've got to say to ourselves what's real and what isn't real. I mean, can you answer that one, Paul?
What strikes me as real is megalomania. People seem to be hungry for power, certain groups in society. See, we saw that in America in the presidential election. They will not accept the will of the people. They must be in power. They must dictate the policies. They must choose the people who rule over us at every level, all the judges, all the politicians. They have got to be in control. And who are they behind the scenes? You've got this image of, I've seen an image of George Soros with his politicians like puppets on a string. And this is the thing, it's all megalomania and manipulation. They don't want us to see reality as it is and be able to challenge them, because if we did see reality as it is, like with this presidential election, we would challenge it and say that is unacceptable. We will not go along with that. And that's what happened in the past. In the past there would be an uproar, there'd be a moral outrage, the media would echo that and amplify it, and the politicians would have to respond. Now, people are confused because they're being so easily manipulated. There's no outrage in the media is silent in the face of any injustice. So the politicians know they can get away with murder. How far is this going to go? Because when politicians get this degree of power, like Stalin, like Hitler, like Mao, like the Chinese Communist Party today, there's nothing to stop them doing what they want. If they want to engage in perverted sexuality, break all the moral boundaries, they get away with it because the press won't call them to account. If they want to eliminate their opponents and destroy their opponents, they get away with it. They dox people now. Anyone who's a nonconformist who challenges their opinion, it's doxed. They can deprive them of their jobs. They're going into the cashless economy now. Everything's on a credit card. So you've got no money in your pocket. If they kill your bank account, your credit card's dud. You've got no money. You've got no sustenance. You've got nothing to live on. You're totally at their mercy. This is a controlled society. They call it the Great Reset, don't they? They're taking control. It's like they don't want democracy anymore. They don't want nations. They don't want to be responsible to committed citizens who want to stand up for traditional societies. They don't want to be responsible to them. I mean, all this mass immigration is part of that. They're breaking up the cohesion of society, the organic nature of society, where people know each other and relate to each other and actually can act together. That's no longer the case. We live in a fractured society now, where different groups compete with each other. Different groups don't trust each other. We've lost a lot of goodwill socially. People, they call it social capital, of neighbourliness, of being part of, growing up together, trusting each other. That's gone now. It's gone. All the time it means that power is going to the top. It's going to the people with the money. And this is the other thing about these people. They're obsessed with money. They're not happy to be rich. They've got to be multi-billionaires. The Mark Zuckerbergs, the George Soroses, the Michael Bloombergs. Because they know that money now is the god. And money is the source of power. And everyone will bow down to them. Not only the police, the secret services, the judiciary, the courts, the politicians, the people who control society will bow down to them. They're in control. They've got everything covered. And these people, they're like Svengali figures, like Norm Eisen. They're controlling all the time. They're controllers. They're control freaks. This is megalomania, the flip side of megalomania. They want to control other people. Now, we've got a great tradition in the West, in Britain, the English-speaking world, of liberty and freedom, of truth and honesty, of transparency, of accountability. These really important words and terms which say you've got at the end of the day, you've got a decent society where those in power are kept in check. They can't abuse that power. It's coming to an end. We're coming into this totalitarian age. communist China is the great model now, and these mega wealthy people, what they call them, plutocrats, people, wealth talks, power talks. It's all about control, and the next generation coming through, they'll be used to being treated like sheep. This is the term, sheep, all about control.
Well, there you go. You know, no accountability at central government level or at local government level in this country. No accountability. The people are totally indoctrinated. They believe everything the government says and what the mainstream media says. A mainstream media that works in total collusion with the government. In fact, you might as well say that the mainstream media is part of the government machine, part of the state machine. And, you know, it's up to you guys who watch this. I probably won't be able to put this on YouTube. I'm going to have to put it onto BitChute because YouTube will take it down. This is what's going on. We're being told what to say. We're being indoctrinated. And anyone like me and Paul, you know, who see things differently, you know, we're excluded. That's right, Paul. Excluded. Anyway, you know.
Anyway, keep going. We shall overcome.
I'll see you.